Thank you very much for making a date on today's edition of the Marketplace. Let's now start it off with some developments in the energy sector. There appears to be some disagreements between the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission and the new ECG owners over the determination of new tariff levels. George Rafe has been following up on this particular story. He has the latest.
Documents cited by Joy Business shows the new owners wants the utility tariff review to be strictly influenced by the rate-setting guidelines that was agreed with them when the takeover agreement was signed last year. Joy Business is learning if the new tariff levels are not structured in a way to offer prudent returns on their investments, then government may have to pay up the difference. But in a separate document, the PRC is insisting that the supposed caution was not needed because it has done all the necessary engagement to settle on these new tariff levels. The Commission is insisting that it has the sole power to determine what consumers should pay, and therefore it cannot be pressured on this issue. The Commission is also rejecting claims of being the cause of the delayed takeover of ECG by the Power Distribution Service. But for some, the development is worrying, as it could cost the country in drawing down all the funds under the Millennium Challenge Compact. This is because it has to complete the takeover way before March 6, 2019. However, the parties are optimistic of a deal could be reached within the next few weeks for ECG's takeover to be completed. But the question is, what are the right levels of utility tariffs, and what about the ability of consumers to pay?
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister of Energy in charge of power, Rekwa Edu, has stated that the takeover of ECG by a private concessionaire power distribution company is not likely to happen soon. Joy Business had earlier reported that the takeover could take effect from next week. But speaking at the Meet the Press series in Accra yesterday, the Deputy Energy Minister noted there are still some guarantee issues with the company, hence their inability to take over the ECG. Let's hear how exactly he put it.
I think a journalist asked about or mentioned or alluded to the fact that there's going to be a transfer next week to the concessionaire. That is not the case. That is not the case. We have had some issues with some guarantees that was expected of the concessionaire, and that has not been ready. It's not ready. I cannot blame the concessionaire alone. We have had some delays also in the tariff setting by the PRC. That has also gone some way to not helping the concessionaire in providing the guarantees. So we are meeting again in a couple of weeks' time with the concessionaire for the guarantees, and after which a date will be set for the transfer from ECG to the concessionaire.
All right, so that's how the Deputy Minister put it. But let's get some reactions from technical member of the PURC and an energy expert, Ishmael Ejekumhene. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the Marketplace.
Good afternoon, Manuel.
All right, so I believe you heard what the Deputy Minister said. Among others, he says the PURC is also to be blamed because you have not been ready with the tariff issues to feed to the new concessionaire. What's your initial reactions to this?
Well, I wish I didn't have to speak as a commissioner of the PURC because I don't speak for the PURC. But I don't think that the inability of the concessionaire to take over as advertised has got anything to do with tariffs. I think the question that anybody should ask the minister is whether or not, if the tariffs are announced today, the concessionaire is ready to take over tomorrow. If there are guarantee issues, I think they should provide those guarantees. The tariff that the PRC is going to announce is on a methodology, and that methodology the PDS or the concessionaire knows about. If you plug in the numbers, it should give you some results. So I am hesitant to comment on this, but just to say that if they are delayed, they shouldn't blame it on Europe.
All right, so as a tariff setting commission, what role do you have to play with a new, power distributor coming on board, what is your exact, mandate here?
Again, I think you probably should talk to the PRC, but let's suffice to say that the PDS is a distribution company. They are basically taking over the role of ECG. And PRC is the only body in this country that is mandated by law to determine how much anybody who produces electricity and water can charge. Yes, and there's methodology for determining, right? So PRC's role doesn't change because the concessionaire is coming. It's basically to use the methodology to determine how much and then should pay for the power or the service that the PDA guys are going to provide.
Now, the energy minister also assured, or had earlier assured, that the coming on board of the new concessionaire does not automatically imply that there would be, increase in tariffs or reduction in tariff. Now, do you think that this new, entrant can influence the tariff at the initial stages here?
Well, Emmanuel, I probably wouldn't want to get into that space, that discussion, but I believe these issues are not something that are far-fetched. We don't have to wait too long to know what the impact of the concessionaire is going to have on electricity tariff. So I would say let's defer that until the PRC tariff and come back to the table. But I guess the word used was not necessarily. Okay, I've heard figures to the effect that tariffs are going to go up to by 60%, 70%. I don't see how that should happen, because if ECG we say ECG is inefficient, okay, and we bring their concession, we expect things to improve. So I would say let's defer that conversation until PRC announces, and then we see that tariffs are going to be. Bottom line is that the concessionaires supposed to get some money in the sector, and that those investments have to be recovered through the tax. So once those investments are going to be made, they are prudent investments. Users of electricity will have to pay for that. Whether that is going to translate tariff increase or not, we all have to see. But there's a methodology. Once you plug these figures, you should get some. But I think we're spending too much energy talking about what happened, what is going to happen in 2 years. It has to happen anytime soon, and the takeover would also have to be a matter. We all see the impact, and then we can analyze means for. But again, we're talking about matter of days and not months. We will know PRS will have to announce the tariff, not because of the concession, but we told Ghanaians last that was for 1 year, and the tariff was announced in March 2018. So with or without the concession, PRC has a responsibility to tariff.
All right, so many thanks for your time. But finally, before you leave, could you give us a hint on when the PRC could be announcing the new tariffs?
Hint, because you talk to the PRC, talk to the secretary. I mean, you media, what you're trying to do. It's not my place to give a hint. I told you that in March 2018, we said the tariff was for 1 year. So it means that we are in February. So March is fast approaching. We should be announcing tariffs if we are to what we told Ghanaians a year ago.
All right, many thanks for your time, Ishmael Jokumene, is the commissioner of the PURC. He is also an energy expert. Now, it appears moves by government to convert the Tema oil refinery into a tank farm has been abandoned as the company currently seeks to expand its operations. Managing Director of TOR, Isaac Osei, says plans are underway to increase productivity and bring in more investments to make Ghana's only oil refinery more viable. He spoke with my colleague Ernest Menu on the sidelines on the Meet the Press series in Accra yesterday.
That is not for me to answer. I have never said TOR should be a tank farm. But apart from that, in the short to medium term, we are looking to increase the capacity of the production that we have on the present TOR premises. And we are doing it in 2 stages. The first stage is the replacement of the furnace which blew up a couple of years ago. When that one comes in, we'll be able to increase our capacity straight to 45,000. From 45,000, we have a project to increase it to 60. And alongside that, we are bringing in a foreign technical and financial partner who can build a modular unit of capacity of about 40,000. That is what will give us 100,000 on the TOR premises. But as to the participation of the foreign entity, a lot of it depends on our government.
Is it your plan to ensure that TOR is able to refine crude that will meet the demands of the nation?
Yes, I mean we do produce that already. We are already refining 10 crude. We are refining Bolly Light for the market. As we speak, people are tracking our products which we have produced from the market. And then once the refractory material comes and we deal with it this week and next week, we start cracking, and then you get what you call super and LPG. So all these products are already being produced on TOR premises.
Does it have any consequence for the price on the market at all?
It could. It could. It depends on what we do with our margins.
And in a separate development, government says it has certified 7,000 electrical wiring practitioners. Energy Minister John Peter Mehu says it is in consonance with the policy of preventing or reducing disasters that emanate from the poor wiring and electrical faults.
Over 17,000 electrical wiring practitioners, ladies and gentlemen, have been certified to reduce incidents of electrical fires associated with faulty electrical wiring nationwide. About 100 violators of the electrical wiring regulations have also been disciplined. We have certified electrician mobile app developed by the Energy Commission, which was launched in 2017 to assist property owners and estate developers in search and engagement of certified electricians, providing accessibility to certified practitioners.
Turning away from energy matters now, PricewaterhouseCoopers Ghana Limited, PwC, has renewed calls by some businesses for government to improve tax collection systems through digital means. The international audit firm believes the use of online and other digital platforms is the best way of enhancing revenue mobilization. Director of Tax Services at the PwC, Aisha Bedri, has been speaking with Joy Business ahead of the upcoming IntelliTax seminar, a capacity building event to educate SMEs on innovative ways of filing returns.
The Ghana Revenue Authority for more than 2 years has missed its domestic revenue target despite measures put in place by government to broaden the tax net. Many small businesses have little or no knowledge about some of the tax policies being introduced, hence the struggle to honor their tax obligations. As part of efforts to intensify public education, PwC and Joy Business are collaborating to enlighten small and medium enterprises on innovative ways to file their taxes at the end of the year. Aisha Bedre is Director of Tax Services at the PwC Ghana.
Called IntelliTax, paying taxes intelligently, and it's a way to educate small and medium-sized businesses and the business community at large about the taxes that affect them on a practical basis, not theoretical, but very practical, and how they can implement these to the best of their ability and how they can also improve their knowledge when it comes to paying taxes. And we hope that this will help drive up compliance rates, get people to start talking about these topical issues and not shy away from tax like it's something to be afraid of. So that's the intent behind it.
She believes the use of digital and online platforms would encourage more businesses to pay their taxes.
One of the easiest ways to educate people now is through the online presence or the internet. So I think a lot should be done, around that, and also making it easy for people to pay taxes. So once again, things like filing online, which is common in other African countries like Rwanda and South Africa, it would be really good if we had that in Ghana as well. But I think the lack of understanding or the confusion doesn't encourage people to voluntarily pay taxes or find themselves within the tax net. So it definitely made things a little bit difficult in terms of tax collection and reaching everybody, or widening the tax net as it's called. But also for the SMEs, like I said, they struggle with actually having the requisite knowledge, being able to pay for the requisite services to understand these things. So I think if it's simplified and education is more widespread through the internet and social media, it might make it easier for compliance rates to go up.
The event, scheduled for February 12, is expected to create a platform for both business and the revenue collection agencies to dialogue on better ways of improving revenue generation.
All right, so February 12 is the date for the Joy Business Knowledge Series on taxes, which is powered by PwC. You can join us at the Mervyn Hotel, Accra, for what promises to be a very interesting session. The time is 8:30 a.m. and our hashtag is IntelliTax. Moving on, CEOs and business leaders in the financial sector have settled on the need for intense digitization of business modules to meet changing demands in the sector, deliberating on how best businesses can survive in the wake of blockchain technology at the 2019 Future of Finance syllabus launch by the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA. Director of Education at CIMA, Dr. Noel Tego, warned that failure to adopt new financial technology spells doom for the financial markets.
And for countries like Ghana, that means that we start reskilling right from primary school through to our universities. We're talking a lot about technology and digital technology. We've got to make them part of the way in which we do things and the way in which our students and our young people think about things. Fortunately, most of them don't fear technology. And so we have a good platform to build upon. But that must be integrated into our curriculum, and that must be integrated into the ways in which organizations work. Once that happens, then we can be assured that we will navigate through. And the other thing we also need to know is that we've got to have people who are always watching what is changing. Because, you see, I gave this quotation from a guy called Carol Bryan, that some people make things happen, some people watch things happen, and some people say, what the hell just happened? Sometimes in our countries, we end up being those people who say, what the hell just happened? At least, if we are not going to do anything at all, if we are not going to make the change happen, let's watch the change that is happening so that we're able to react very quickly to those changes, and then we can be the country that we want it to be.
Finally, where do you see the financial markets here in Ghana when it comes to adapting new technologies to remain relevant on the global stage?
I think the financial markets typically are those who are early adopters of technology because it helps them do things faster. I'm not too conversant with what happens in Ghana in terms of the technologies that the stock exchange and some of the financial markets uses. But I'll flag a couple of things to them. I mean, you cannot be in the financial market now without using analytics. You cannot be in the financial markets now without thinking very seriously about blockchain as a technology. And for those who service the financial markets, the investment analysts, the fund managers, and so on, they've got to start thinking about these things in real terms. I mean, once you're using technology, you have to know that you are susceptible to cyber attacks. You cannot be in there and not think about cyber risk and cyber security and how to overcome those things. So the challenge to the financial markets in Ghana is how are they planning on those things, how are they deploying the technology, and how are they supporting, if you like, the building of skills and competencies among their existing staff.
Turning attention now to trade matters, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, has called on the central bank to take immediate steps to end the speculative activities that are causing depreciation of the Ghana cedi against major trading currencies. As of February 1, the cedi had already depreciated by 2.6% against the US dollar compared to the 0.1% appreciation in the same period last year. Speaking to Joy Business on this development, Dr. Joseph Obeng said the central bank must put in more funds to stabilize the currency.
The local currency's performance is reaching new lows as its years-to-date depreciation puts it among the worst-performing currencies in the emerging market. President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obin, attributes this trend to speculations.
We have to find a way to monitor the activities of these foreigners. It's capital flight as usual. And I've also said that even along the West African coast, we trade these currencies as if they are commodities.
Meanwhile, Dr. Joseph Obin has called for 30% retention of foreign investment in Ghana.
How are we making conscious efforts to invest maybe 30% of the country as a whole having about 30% investment as a policy in these areas so that we can have a retention?
Bank of Ghana's interbank exchange as at February 1 shows the cedi had depreciated by 2.6% against the US dollar compared to 0.1% appreciation in the same period last year. Last year, the cedi depreciated by 8.4% against the dollar in what the central bank attributed to strengthening of the US dollar against currencies in emerging and other frontier markets. For Joy Business, Charles Aite reporting.
Time now to cross over international boundaries for some international business news. And Canada's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Quadriga, is unable to access millions in digital currency following the sudden death of its founder. The company has filed for creditor protection and estimates that about $137 million in cryptocurrency coins is missing. It has not been able to locate or secure its cryptocurrency reserves since Gerard Cotton died last December.
Cotton 30 had sole responsibility for handling the funds and coins. In court documents filed with the Nova Scotia Supreme Court on 31st of January, his widow, Jennifer Robertson, says the laptop on which Cotton carried out the company's business is encrypted and she didn't know the password or recovery key. Company had an investigator to see if information could have been retrieved, but ongoing efforts have had only limited success in recovering the few coins and some information from Cotton's computer and phone. The company is also investigating whether some of the cryptocurrency could be secured on other exchanges, according to court files. They say about 115,000 Quadriga users hold balances in their personal accounts in the form of cash, obligations, and cryptocurrency. The company estimates it owes about $190 million, including $70 million in hard currency. The affidavit says the majority of the cryptocurrency was kept by Quadriga in a cold wallet or cold storage, which is located offline and used to secure cryptocurrency from hacking or theft. The founder died unexpectedly due to complications with Crohn's disease while traveling in India, according to the court document.
And on that rather unfortunate incident in international business news, we wrap up this afternoon's edition of The Marketplace. Many thanks for your company. Do join me again same time tomorrow for more interesting developments in the world of business. Meantime, you can have more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Apuaji. We are free. Have a good afternoon.